Up next, we got a good friend of mine, someone I consider a mentor, someone I've looked up to, PHILLYFLYBOY, Stephen Phillip. What's up, man?
Hey, we in the Philly Facts studio right now.
So tell us a little bit about you and what you've been up to.
If you want to encapsulate what I do, you know, like in a simplistic manner, I'm a director, create content, the majority of that being music video. I've done everything from working with, Kendrick Lamar, J. Cole, T.I., everybody like that on the music side of things. And then on TV too, as creative director on Ski TV out in LA for a couple seasons.
Amazing, man, amazing. So I'll pass it off to you. I think some big talking points would be around like creating affordable videos, but that also are, can get people to engage with them and really move the needle for an artist.
Well, I mean, for me, that's perfect because that's kind of what my niche is in the game. I kind of came up, obviously I'm self-taught. I kind of was put into the industry because of necessity. When I was younger, we had a little group, everybody rapped, everybody sang. And one of the things that, you were kind of like certified if you had visual content, and nowadays, obviously it's a lot more abundant. But back when I was coming up, if you had a music video, you were kind of the man. Like it was like a big deal to have a visual representation. Even if the quality wasn't up to snuff, it was just like, wow, you got a music video? Like it was crazy. So, and that's kind of stayed true throughout my career, but I had a recording studio. I had 5 or 6 of my buddies doing music over at the house, producing, editing, doing all this other stuff. And the demand for music videos was like big. So, I kind of just said, well, I do photography, I do art, I do this other stuff. Let me pick up a camera and just see where it takes me. And it was definitely not a focus of mine at first until we created that first piece of content and realized that it pushed the needle farther than every other thing that we had been doing at that point, music-wise, photo shoot-wise, shows, everything. The music video was it was such an easy tool to contact people with and just, hey, I don't need to show you a song here, check out my music video. And immediately people would take you seriously. And that still holds true to today. The difference is, and one of the ways that I was able to get into the industry was the demand for music videos superseded the amount of directors that were available. And, the price point of cameras was coming down and the demand for video was going up, where back in the day, it was like you had one big video and that was it, and now you need 5, 6, 7, videos a year just to maintain, a reputation and whatever. So with that being said, the problem was you needed more content, but the industry was kind of going through a major facelift because streaming became a thing. Stealing music was really the original streaming. I mean, people were just ripping off music. So their main source of income was selling this music. And now it pulls back into, we can't sell music anymore. So, and we need more content. So the budget started going down, the demand for content went up, and that's kind of where I was created. I saw a way to create good content without having to spend a bazillion dollars. So, for me, being from Milwaukee, not having a lot of resources was kind of how I honed that skill, and I thought it was kind of, when I was originally doing it, I said, man, I can't wait till I get big budgets. I can't wait till I have unlimited funds and all this other stuff. And as I kept progressing, I realized that's not what I wanted. You don't want that, that kind of thing. You kind of want to take what you have and make the most of it because the big budgets just aren't even there. They're very minimal. It's like the top tier 1% of artists are getting these big budgets, and everybody below that is getting, mediocre budgets, and they all have the same demand for content as the guys up top. So to fill that gap is kind of what I saw as a lane for myself. And that's when I, started saying and building the confidence to take the skills that I had in Milwaukee, where we're using headlights as lights. We're using different resources. We're borrowing people's cars. We're using, a buddy's house and really maximizing the networking relationships that we had to create content that was worthy of being, whatever. So with that being said, one of the things that, just to give you a reference point of this, my first video I ever shot for T.I. was shot with a camera that had a broken lens, and it was about a $500 camera. But Tip had seen work that I did prior to that, and that's why he hired me. And when I got on set, he was like, "Where's your crew?" And I said, I am the crew. Like I do the lights, I'm setting up lights. I had literally Christmas lights. We did a car scene where he's driving and I wrapped Christmas lights around the dashboard of the car to light him. And literally I'm like, dog, he's gonna roast the hell out of me. This is gonna be embarrassing. And he literally said, he's like, that's a dope idea. He's like, I like that. He's like, it looks like light, it looks good, it makes me look good. I was like, bet. So that right there gave me the real like green light to realize like, you know, it's not necessarily about what's behind the camera, it's how it looks on camera, and maximizing the tools that you do have and the resources that you do have is way more important than having lobsters on set and champagne and all the extra stuff that costs an additional amount of money to the artist, you know, and it doesn't affect the music video quality at all. So my biggest thing was just stripping down the videos. What can we do with the amount of money that we have, or the no money that we have, to make this look good? What affects the look of the video? You know, what's really gonna make this look like we spent more money than what we did? And that's when I started just researching and trial and error and just doing. You know, I mean, I shot 100 trash videos to get to one good one, you know, but I didn't let those trash videos deter me, because ironically, people were still like, these videos are dope. I felt embarrassed by them, but other people were responsive to them. So I said, I got to get over this fear of putting out these, you know, Vincent Van Gogh level videos, and just keep it moving so that I can keep these skills, you know, growing and create a product that's low cost but high, you know, high production. So, and I was doing it at a time when, you know, the resources weren't available like they are today. So now, as the resources have become more available, it's just made me more fine-tuned on how I can keep budgets low. And I'm one of the few directors that I know that can take almost any budget, and I maintain the quality of the budget's here or the budget's here.
Is there a video in particular that we can focus on, of essentially like what the idea was from the beginning and around what the budget was and ultimately what like came out of it?
One of the videos, and this is a little bit now, I'm getting into like, okay, I've done a couple videos, I'm getting some recognition, I'm working with bigger artists, but I literally had to take my whole skill set of the low cost run and gun style and put it into a video that was pretty high profile, and it was Memories Back Then. It's T.I., Kendrick Lamar, and B.O.B. And how it worked out was, and a lot of people wouldn't have been able to take this project the way that it was thrown to me. I was told about it 24 hours in advance. We literally had no permits. I had no crew, no nothing. So I just called my friends. I had a couple buddies in LA. I said, yo, just come to set, act like you know what you're doing. Like, they don't know you don't know what you're doing. Just if you got a question, just ask me quietly on the side and I'll tell you what to do. I might not know what to do either, but just let's thug it out. Act as if, you know, these guys don't know that we don't know what we're doing. So we were on a 6th Street bridge downtown LA, no permits, no nothing. And I literally bought like the big orange cones and blocked off a lane of traffic and had my guy out there with the work vest on. I bought him a work vest, so he looked official, and he's just waving traffic. No cops are driving by. 6th Street Bridge, downtown LA. You need like a big permit to do that. He's waving people by, cops are cool, no one's saying a word because it looked legit. So we shot that video, and it was run and gun. The idea was being created while we were on the plane to LA. We're literally like scouting locations online, and one of my big resources that I always tell people to use, and I used it for this video, is Google Maps. You know, because Google Maps allows you to virtually kind of be in these locations. It's kind of a little cheat code for scouting, like out of town, if you're not able to be there or have somebody go run around and see what's what. You can kind of just hop on Google Maps, throw an address in, go to Street View, and you can basically drive around the neighborhood and look for things. And I found a million locations like that. So, you know, of course, it throws a curveball when you have higher profile artists because they draw a lot of attention. Yeah. So that was another challenge. We were on Santa Monica Pier with Kendrick, B.O.B., and T.I., and on the front side of the pier, it's packed. Saturday, packed. But on the back side, where like the employees work and the employee doors are, it was empty. So I go talk to one of the store owners and I say, hey, is that cool if we shoot behind the building? You can still see the whole pier. So it looks like we're on the pier. I say, hey, is that cool if we shoot back here? We kind of want to be low profile. He's like, yeah, that's cool. We bought lunch from his place. So he's like, yeah, I'll spend a little money with you. Boom. So I basically got a permit and the okay to shoot on Santa Monica Pier by buying lunch, you know, from the hot dog stand. So, you know, that willingness to talk to people and try to work it out with them is a key essential thing, because, you know, just being able to be friendly, have that rapport with people, and just ask people, say, hey, here's what I'm trying to do. Is there any way you can help me out? You'd be surprised how many locations I've got because of that. And then the guy literally offers it up, like, hey, you want to shoot inside of the restaurant? You want to do this? You want to do that? It turned into a whole thing. Like, he let us do whatever we wanted to do. And this was basically off of me just, you know, going up to him, being friendly, you know, not being arrogant, cocky, like, yo, I got T.I. with me, bro. We shooting here. Like, no, like, you know, just having that rapport with people opened up that opportunity for me. So that video in all, like in total, was, I think it was probably like what it costed, probably like with flights, travel, and there was really no cost involved because we just guerrillaed it out. We didn't, no permits, no none. So maybe like $5 grand.
Wow.
And that's like, you know, that's like 3 plane tickets, hotel, all that stuff. That ate up most of the budget. The rest of the budget was like just, you know, renting gear that we didn't know what we were doing with it. Like, we literally just rented shit to look like we were like more official, you know, we wanted to look a little. So we're at the rental store, I'm just renting things. I'm like, yeah, get that, get this. And we didn't use half of the gear. We just brought it and just set it on the side, make it look like we, oh no, we don't need that right now. We use it on the next part. So, and then ironically, you know, just being aware of your surroundings and being able to utilize things, like, for instance, we were trying to find a group shot for everybody. And none of the locations that we had originally picked out, none of them worked. So we were trying to figure out this group shot. Tips like, let's go back to my house. He had a house that he had rented. Well, the house that he rented had this like deck patio thing up on the roof. Yeah. And it like overlooked Los Angeles. And it was basically like that iconic, like overlooking Los Angeles shot that everybody wants. But that is not as easy as you think. And all the popular places that you would go in LA to do that, there'd be people everywhere. So I'm standing there in the parking lot or in the driveway, and I look up and I'm like, hey, is that roof? Can we get on the roof? And he's like, yeah, it's like a patio thing. I'm like, bet, that's gonna be the shot. So now the sun's going down and we got like 20 minutes to do this. I'm rushing. I'm literally like, yo, change your outfits. Kendrick, get out of it. No, come on, switch out. He's like, oh, I got, no. I'm like, no, you got to, come on, we got 20 minutes. Like, if we don't get it now, we're not going to get it. So I'm yelling at Kendrick Lamar. Tibbs trying to change in his car. He's pulling stuff out of his bag. He's changing in the driveway. Literally, we're trying to get this all going. And I have like an iconic, crazy photo of this where we're all on the roof right as the sun's like going down. And we got the shot. And it looks like something that we like set up for months and weeks on end. And it literally was something off the cuff at the last fourth quarter where we needed this shot and we got it. So just being really aware and not being afraid to put those ideas on the artist is amazing. Like, hey, you want to jump on this roof real quick? Just jump up on this car so we can get this low angle, or, you know, things like that. Like just having the confidence to utilize your resources and also be aware of those resources has been crucial to keeping those budgets down. Because if I would have gone and rented a house or found a spot like that, cleared it off, done the permits and all that, that would have been 10 grand right there. I just didn't have that, but I still need to make the video look like we spent that kind of money, and it ended up, that's exactly what it did.
Definitely. So, I mean, that story's crazy. I'm kind of upset I never heard it before.
Now listen, another crazy part about this story, another key element to this story is Travis Scott was with Tip at the time. He had just signed Travis Scott. And Travis Scott was showing me the Katana video in the car. And I'm trying to get everybody moving. And Travis Scott's like in my ear, like, hey, bro, you got to look at this. Look at this. Like, check out my video, bro. I want you to shoot my videos. And I don't know who he is. You know, at this point in time, he's like a little nerdy kid that, like, you know, he just said he signed a Tip, but like 20 guys were signed a Tip. I didn't, you know, I'm like, okay, cool. I'm like, my guy, like, I'm literally like blowing off Travis Scott because I'm like in a time crunch. I'm like, bro, chill. I'll watch it when I'm done. Now in hindsight, I'm like, dog, like, I'm, you know, in the moment though, I'm like under a lot of pressure, just trying to make it shake. And this dude's trying to show me his video. So that's another little caveat to that story. We'll maybe another time we'll get a beer. We'll sit down and tell you the whole story.
Weird. Well, I think of immediately like, especially like a lot of the artists that we work with immediately, you know, they go through the program. All of a sudden there's a budget involved, right? Like we have a budget now, we should do this, this and that. And I think a lot of, not a lot, but like there's been artists that I've worked with that will overlook the Philly that was just starting out, but that was very resourceful, and instead goes towards like somebody that, you know, has videos that already has millions of views, or more established director. You know, when you think about independent and up like and rising talent, what route would you recommend them to go? Do you go and do the video with the homie who like can be resourceful, or do you go and you spend the budget?
So for me, this is crazy because I actually turned down a lot of videos from independent artists, not because I don't want to shoot them, but because you know, again, I love this industry. I want to see people succeed. I don't want to just turn and burn. I don't want to, you know, I don't want to just get some money and then never work with the person again. Almost 90% of people that I work with are on their third, fourth, fifth video with me. And a lot of that has to do with me coaching the client. And I tell a lot of directors this: you got to coach the client. If you want to create a lifelong client, or and a friendship and a network and everything like that, there has to be some coaching involved. You have to break things down for them. And sometimes for an artist, if the budget that they're giving me is the max of their budget, right? And they're putting every single thing that they have into me, I tell them, I'm like, bro, I'm not going to do this for you. I'm like, I want you to work with somebody else that can get you, because you need 4 or 5 videos, plus you need marketing dollars. A lot of these guys just think, oh, I get a Philly video, it's gonna blow. That's not how things work. There's an illusion that, like, if you get a feature from Gucci Mane, you're gonna be the next Gucci Mane. That's not how it works. So you spend 20 bands on a Gucci Mane feature thinking you're gonna blow, and really you should have spent 20 bands on the marketing. You know what I'm saying? And for me, I turn down videos all the time because I tell people, I'm like, bro, like, if this is your whole budget, you don't need me right now. You know what I'm saying? You don't need me. But here's what I'm gonna do. I got some young, you know, up and coming dudes from the city or wherever. I'm gonna link you with them. You can grow with them. You know what I'm saying? This is my homies, good people. Grow with them, do 5 or 6 pieces of content. But I really want you to focus on is, if you spend 500 on a video, 1,000 on a video, 5,000 on a video, please have at least that amount on the back end to promote it. Because the dopest video in the world doesn't mean nothing if only you and your guys have seen it. Yep. So for me, I always try to coach the client of why things cost a certain thing. Like, a lot of people will say, like, Philly, how much you cost? And I'm like, there's no set price, because every video is different. You know, but when I break it down for them, so they say, hey, I want a mansion and a car and this and the other thing, I'll break down the prices for them. I say, okay, so look, you want a mansion? Here's your options. I just show it straight up. It's $3,000 a day here. It's 1,000 here for this one. Like, bro, you want to spend $3,000 on a house? Like, is that really going to change this video and make it that much better? Like, how many big mansions have we seen in videos? That's not changing the narrative here. And you're spending $3,000 on this as an independent artist. Like, it just doesn't make sense. So when you tell people that, they're like, oh man, that makes so much sense. But nobody's telling people that because they just want the money. They just like, oh bro, yeah, just PayPal me the down payment, pay me the deposit. And I don't like to do that, because I'm in it for the long term. I've been here for a long time. I've been doing this for a long time. And I've grown clients with other directors, and then they circle back to me once they've become bigger. You know what I'm saying? They've become bigger, and now they have real budgets, and they have real, you know, teams, and they have everything in the situation. And now we can really rock, because we can do a video that way up top. And then not only that, we can literally take it and put it in a machine. Forget the label, you know, the YouTube marketing, the Facebook marketing, the Instagram marketing, the TikTok marketing. That's where you're going to see results. Not because you shot a Philly Flyboy video. It's a nice thing to have, don't get me wrong. You know what I'm saying? I'm not gonna say, like, don't ever get a video by me, but if your budget isn't right, and I'm not whacking over the head anyway, but ultimately sometimes I'm out of people's budgets, and I will just not take that job. I refuse to take the job if all your dollars are going into me. I'm not gonna be able to sleep at night. That's not cool with me. I'm not okay with that. I wanna see the product do well, because I shot with Kendrick before he was Kendrick. I shot with Kid Ink before he was Kid Ink. You know, I've shot with J. Cole before he was J. Cole. I shot with a lot of these guys before they were who they were. And I saw what they were doing, and they were keeping things cost effective, because they knew they didn't have, you know, big budget to push these things. So every dollar counted. And they focused on getting the product out there more than just making the craziest video in the world, you know? And because of that, these guys became who they were. Enough eyes got put on Kendrick, enough eyes got put on J. Cole, that now they're in a position that you'll get to that point. You'll get to the big budgets. You'll get to the big videos, you know? And the thing about it is, like, bro, I know guys, if you really sit down on Instagram and look around, bro, you don't like, don't get me wrong, it's dope to have my kind of video, but like, I know guys that with a $500 budget can make it look crazy now. You know what I'm saying? So it's like, just keeping it funky with you, like, you know, I might not be the best option for you, and that's okay with me.
I love it, man. Thanks again, man, for your time. I appreciate you. Everyone go follow Philly. Stay tuned for the Philly Facts.